Central and South Asia, we broke that into two. Central Asia, we put Iran in the Central Asia region just to give it a little more weight. But Iran is very interesting. We've just lifted sanctions on Iran. Now, we put some sanctions back in place, at least the United States did unilaterally. But the Iranian economy is increasingly open for business. And this was once the most diversified economy in the region, certainly in the Middle East, Central Asia region. They had a very big manufacturing sector. They have a huge oil and gas industry. They have a Western-oriented population interested in importing goods and services from the West. So growth opportunities in Iran are tremendous. There's 80 million people there. Question is, how will the politics play out? Will the reformers continue to gain an influence, or will the hardliners, like the supreme leader there, Khomeini, will they put the brakes on reform and put the brakes on increasing economic ties with the rest of the world? And will conflict in the region derail any hopes of economic growth they have? We talked a lot about India as far as South Asia is concerned, but India is certainly helping to boost growth rates in places like Bangladesh, places like Sri Lanka. So a lot of opportunities for growth in South Asia. Huge population growth in this region. It's a poor region, obviously, but the opportunities for growth are substantial. Political outlook. I didn't talk too much about Afghanistan or Pakistan. The security situation in those countries remains very poor. There's been a big push in recent weeks, and the US and China have been involved to get the Afghan government into peace talks with the Taliban. Pakistan seems to have come on board with that under pressure from China. So there is a possibility we actually have full-fledged peace talks in Afghanistan. I have very little faith that they'll achieve much right now, but there is a possibility that that will take place. So let's go to the big region. We always end up with Asia, East Asia and the Pacific. We broke the charts into two. There's the developed countries on the top, the more emerging countries on the bottom. But you can see here growth rates generally well above what we've seen in every other region of the world. And this is due in large part to the rising middle class in this region, the rising levels of consumer purchasing power in the region. This is helping to offset a lot of the external shocks that we've seen in the global economy because consumers in this region continue to spend. It's not just China with 11% retail growth rates. We're seeing that in many of the countries in this region. And even on the developed side, South Korea, I didn't mention South Korea. South Korea, in 1960, South Korea was unquestionably a third world country. It was poorer than North Korea. North Korea had all the manufacturing. And South Korea today is now about to surpass Japan in terms of wealth levels, and it's catching up on a number of European countries. So it is clearly a first world country today. And in a span of just over 50 years, they went from being a third world country to an unquestioned first world country, and their growth rates continue. They are very good at competing for manufactured exports around the world. There are more elections in this region than anywhere else, as I mentioned. So democracy is flourishing in many countries in the region. I didn't talk about North Korea. That's the most difficult thing to predict, exactly what North Korea is going to do. If predicting the Browns' win total is the easiest, predicting North Korea's actions is probably the most difficult. They are completely unpredictable. They tested something akin to a hydrogen bomb, which they claimed was a hydrogen bomb, but we're not sure exactly what it was. Earlier this month, it does create problems. But interestingly enough, the United States and China have been working together in the United Nations Security Council to pass resolutions condemning North Korea's actions. I mean, North Korea is not finding any friends right now. China is very upset that they're causing this unrest on the Korean Peninsula. The Chinese president, Xi Jinping, he's met the South Korean president 3 times. He's never met the current North Korean president. And that's a clear sign that the disquiet that the North Korea's activities have caused in Beijing. I talked about the South China Sea already, so I won't get into too much detail. This is really the flashpoint to watch if you're concerned about a major global conflict, because this is the one where the United States and China come face to face, and it's the one where there's a lot of other players involved, and there's a big economic stake involved, and there's a big geopolitical stake involved.